My name is Rishona-2. I'm the nurse practitioner at Huntington Reproductive Center for the West LA office. I work with Dr. Turgeman. If we have an international client that gets in touch with us and they want to start a donor IVF cycle and they don't have a donor, we still do the consult with them, and then we refer them to some agencies. So we'll usually give one or two for them to start with, and Dr. Turgeman usually picks the agency based on the client, based on maybe what they're looking for. He might know what agency would be a good match for them, and they will start there, and if they find a match, we have them tell the agency to send us the match sheet so we can start screening the donor. If they don't find a match, they usually tell me, and I can refer them to some other agencies, or they might start looking on their own and tell me about some agencies. And between myself and Dr. Turgeman, we do try to steer them to agencies that we usually work with because we want to work with reputable agencies. We have a binder that we give to all our new patients that has a list of agencies that HRC generally works with. That's for egg donors and surrogates. So we try to work within that list. If they're very motivated, patients do their screenings right away, have a match quickly, or come in maybe already knowing who their donor and or surrogate will be, it could be 6 to 8 weeks. I tell our international patients to do all of their initial screening testing at home because it's not something we need to do here. If they are using a surrogate and we do need to do special donor screenings on the patient who is an international patient, we will do that second set of FDA-required donor screenings here when they're here in Los Angeles. We can even send them a kit so they can send in those labs. So I try to let them do as much as possible at home to keep their time in the States, in Los Angeles, as short as possible if that's what they want. So international clients can get meds shipped from the U.S. There are a few countries where that is not possible, so I always check with the pharmacy, but I do work with at least 2 pharmacies that will ship internationally, so I can arrange for things to be shipped to patients. So if they need to start something while they're still at home, I will arrange that for them and with them. Their part in that is that they need to call the pharmacy to make the payment, so the pharmacy will ship it to them. If they want to find things in their country, which I do encourage people to do because I think it's cheaper for them that way, I work with them, I give them the name of the medication, I give them the generic name of the medication so we can find a match in their country. I know some of the medications that are used in Australia since we work with Australian and New Zealand patients a lot, so I can even tell them the name of the medication to get in their own country, and they do need to arrange that with a doctor in their own country. They then need to go to a doctor to get a prescription to fill what I'm telling them they'll need. But it tends to work out very well. What I tell patients who are coming in is I will write them a doctor's note, and I tell them to make sure they've got the prescription label on the medication. If they got it prescribed from a doctor, say in Australia, usually there's a label on the package. So we really have never had trouble with patients not being allowed to bring through their meds. I tell them to bring it as a carry-on, so if their baggage gets lost, they don't lose their medication. And I send them a note from our doctor saying they're using it to work with us, and it tends to work very well for patients. Patients have never been here before. We do have a lot on our HRC website, which is www.havingbabies.com. It tells about each of our sites and accommodations and restaurants around those sites. I also can email that information for my patients who are going to be doing their surgeries and procedures at our Encino Surgery Center. I can email them all the hotels in the area, the restaurants in the area. So that helps them a lot. In terms of booking flights, usually patients want to do that themselves. And if they're having trouble with that part, I usually refer that back to their agency. Agencies are really good at helping patients with that, especially if they have egg donors who need to come in. That's how they're coordinating that. For our international clients, they do need to do a little bit more work than our national or local clients in that they need to organize all their doctor's visits at home, and they need to get me the results. So they're really the middleman in terms of going to their doctor, getting the results, sending it to me. I then tell them what the next step is. It's one extra step that they have to contend with. I can't talk directly to their clinic because we're a doctor from another country. The same with the medications. I can tell them what they need, but I can't give them the prescription. So then they have to go to a doctor at home and get a prescription. So there is one extra step for our international patients.